Okay, Maya, tell a story now.
Daddy.
That was
Your water has to stay
good
in
hopping.
position.
Once upon a time.
The Kraft Music Hall, starring Bing Crosby, with Jimmy Dorsey and his orchestra, the Paul Taylor Choristers, and tonight, back from his 2-week fishing trip, Bob Byrne. And as Bing's special guest this evening, one of the screen's most charming comedians, Miss Zazu Pitt, with Gail Patrick, star of Paramount Pictures, and Rudolph Gans, one of America's leading pianists. And here's Bing Crosby.
I recently saw something that said not a one of us hit it on the mark when we were asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
2020 has not been a kind
What should we do to protect ourselves from the virus?
It would be really shameful if we don't learn from what we've been through.
Surge in hate crimes against Asian Americans only getting worse.
Cases rise and hospitals near capacity.
But there's another crisis that's building to a crescendo this week. How to educate America's children.
All right, let's tell Mom happy birthday, all right?
All right, ready? Hold on. Let me do the landscape.
All right, Mama.
All right.
Man, how you gonna do us in the
I'm gonna
video?
do 3, 2, 1. Or do you want to say the hi, Mom?
No, I'm not doing all of that.
I just want to sing happy birthday.
Just press record.
I just want to sing happy birthday.
You can do it after I say my message. I'll
Okay,
to you.
okay. And then I'm gonna turn to the whole class, and everyone's gonna say it.
Got it.
Hey, Mama, I just want to say thank you. You are a gift to this world, and you created your son, which is the coolest gift for me. Happy birthday, Mama.
Happy birthday
To you. Okay, Mama, they trying to sing this high school energy. All right, bye.
My name is Will Baird. I am a business teacher at Grandview High School. I teach entrepreneurship, personal finance, business law, and introduction to business.
Do not let me regret this by the name you name that business, because your parents will see this.
I don't know how to name it.
So, I'm going to show you, but remember, I will show your parents your good work, and then if your name is like F it, that's going to be awkward for me, for your store. So don't name it inappropriate names, okay? That was my serious eyes. Do you see these eyes?
I coach girls soccer and boys soccer. I coach girls basketball. I also, this year, I'm coaching freshman football.
Just gonna drive, find a pass, get it into the paint, but Casey Cow knocks that one away. Grandview keeps the ball.
That was a great deflect.
Yet again, scrappy defense from Cherry Creek.
But without sports, I don't think I'd be the man I am. It just taught me how to want things, how to succeed, how to fail and come back and persevere. So I use sports just kind of an analogy for life with my athletes. I relate everything to life. I relate everything to how you overcome things. I talk to them about elite mindsets.
2020 has been obviously a little strange. I have a son who's a freshman now in college, but when this all hit, he was a senior at Cherry Creek High School, and I literally remember his first day of elementary school, and they said, welcome to class of 2020, and I always thought that was kind of cool. Oh, he's graduating in 2020. He's a lacrosse player. They had won the state championship in lacrosse his junior year, and the team coming back last year was better and stronger.
Jeez. Holy
We
moly.
were all looking forward to going out to California to play ranked teams and doing all that and traveling with the group and having fun, and little by little that got taken away. So I was was my focus early on. I was really kind of bummed for him, but I'm not saying that I discount the virus and what it does, but it's not the ever-present worry for me personally, but I know it is for some of my teachers. I'm the department coordinator here.
I've been scared. It's certainly changed my life personally.
That definitely affected my mental health, to an extent that I just miss that. I need to be around people. That's why I chose the profession that I did.
Sometimes I think that we can do this. Sometimes I feel like hopeless, like most people, when I see some really negative news. But all in all, I've been trying to just believe in humanity, and that at the end of the day, good will win, whatever that is.
Guys, mental health is real. You guys gotta start taking care of that mind and that body. Now look. Here's an app I use called Calm. Because, I'm one of those humans that love taking care of my mental health. Because I think that's cool. And I do have affirmations, that I listen to.
Oh, I hate that.
You know what I mean? Where they tell me good stories about myself. But they have these things called sleep stories. So when you want to go to bed and get good sleep, because, quality of your sleep matters, guys. I know I'm on a tangent, but see? Idris Elba, he read The Kingdom of the Sky. You guys want to hear his sleep story?
Yep.
Yeah. You're going to get a little tired. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, listen to his voice. You're not listening to the story, you left.
So lean back and relax as we begin our journey to the kingdom of the sky.
Good, blow it out. And your nose. Dump it. In 4, out 16. Here we go.
Yeah, go. Yes! Oh, that's such a great chord.
So music has always been a pretty big part of my life, but I'd say it really became something really important to me once I got to around freshman year. Since then, singing with my friends at school has been one of my favorite things to do.
They're supporting you by cheering you on, you cheering them on, or you're experiencing a moment with them.
To me, choir is my family. I love choir. I'm able to express myself through music, and we all are there for the same reason. We're all there to inspire others with our music.
And so with virtual choir, I guess it just makes me a little sad, because it's that thing that I love so much and that I really long to do again is not much of what it once was.
Just making sure that's that spot. You kind of have to have memorized your notes coming. Okay, tenors, let's hear you. 1, 2, 1, 2, tenors.
They don't get to experience the joy of ringing a perfect fifth. And what does that feel like, and having your whole cohort together, and what does it sound like with 60 people instead of 6? Hi, my name is Darren Drown, and I teach tenor bass choir and camerata choir and bella voce and jazz choir and chamber singers. Interesting thing about virtual choir, they come out sounding pretty darn good, but it's such a different level of work on the back end of the project, because students basically do their performances and do them as good as they can and get their recordings, and they turn them in, and then it's about 14 or 15 hours of work later before the project is done. And you have to wait and kind of hear it all together just to see what it sounds like, but you lose a lot of the true joy and experience of being in the choir. I think music is always going to be a way for humanity to be able to explain the emotions, the feelings, the hardship that we go through.
Because it's always there for people no matter what mood they're in, whether they're sad, happy, confused, angry. It's always there. It brings joy to people who are having a bad time or just need a little something to help them keep going.
And I love choir. I love my second family. I love my second family. I love choir.
I'm very happy to announce that our next concert is not going to be virtual.
I had a really bad cheeseburger, paper-like fries, and very condensed canned peaches that are have been marinating in corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup for 8 years. So, and then I have this thing. It's called a tornado. Nobody knows what it is. It's probably cancer, but I don't know.
Oh, it looks like it too. Is it good?
Is it good?
I used to love these.
Okay, so what am I saying? What am I talking about? I listened, I swear.
No problem. Just describing this school year and your experience.
One word.
Off the top of my head. I know, that's the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. I have to think about it. I mean, there's so many words to say.
A lot of words to choose from.
This school year
so far has been very overwhelming.
Innovative.
It sucks.
This world's... this school year's just sad.
Bullshit. Terrible. Awful. Disgusting. Repulsive.
It's just boring and confusing.
Different.
Interesting.
It's gonna come with a show.
It's gonna come with a show.
Incognito.
Told you it was cheesy. It has been the hardest year that I have ever experienced. Unreliable.
Unreliable.
Raw. Emotional.
Resilient.
Eonian.
Bleak.
Chaotic.
Chaotic.
Disappointing.
Challenging. I have no words to describe this year. It is just
Chaos.
What word?
Okay, I am Christine Jauregui, and I'm a Spanish teacher here at Grandview, and I'm also the coordinator of the World Language Department. And so I teach Spanish. Because in Spanish, you say, you hope it goes to shit. Right? So you say, quiero que el virus se vaya a la mierda. And so, Austin's taking notes.
I'm writing down.
I write down she said shit. I'm gonna, but that's how you would say it. Quiero que el virus se vaya. Then it goes a la mierda.
And when we were learning about, like regions in the Southern Cone, she was like showed us this picture, and it was these two guys, and they were hiking in Machu Picchu. And she was like, what do I like about this picture? And the guy next to me was like, oh, guy on the right's hot as fuck. And she was like, well, yes, but specifically, like, where is he?
It's pretty complicated to teach a language online. A language is lived and shared. And so it became pretty obvious to me last spring as we went into our quarantine, the challenges of all of that here at Grandview. I decided as a teacher that the main piece that we needed to be doing was really bringing the world to our students, which is a focus anyway in Spanish 4, but I'm trying to do it a little bit more this year in a different way. Y son pequeños así, son chiquititos. Terros? Estás en otro planeta. Son guanacos. Son guanacos. Que la historia es larga y la vida es corta. What does that mean? That's a really profound line. History's long and life is short. But to me right now, the connection with other peoples, other cultures, and seeing other ways of thinking is even more important for me than students producing language. And so I think that we see ourselves in the United States as the center of everything. In Spanish, they say el ombligo del mundo, which really means the belly button of the world, like the center of everything. And this is an incredible country, but we cannot miss what the rest of the world has to offer all of us. And I think we need to have the humility to know that we don't have all the answers. We're not going to get them unless we all start to work together.
Our election coverage continues with your local news on this CBS station tomorrow on CBS This
Got the
Morning.
winners and the losers, you know? So I can tell you 4 years ago what it was like the next day after the election. And you did. You had kids celebrating and you had kids that were sad.
That's a bunch of malarkey. They're losers.
How are you feeling about the election?
I'm nervous.
It's going to be interesting. Oh, nice.
I'm ready to just break down into tears if you guys.
I'm nervous a little bit.
Regardless of hurting wins or who wins, people aren't going to be happy. Right? So we're really anxious, and we're just kind of waiting to see how everything plays out.
What's kind of nice though?
Exactly.
My brother's gone, but the Floyd name still lives on.
You know, I too obviously saw George Floyd. You know, obviously it was shocking. It was jarring.
People aren't talking. They're not communicating. They're not singing.
For example, you know, I work at a Qdoba off of Parker, and you know, every Sunday I work and we have this same guy come in with a MAGA mask, and like, you know, it's just, you know, you just gotta kind of deal with it. Like, you just have to serve these people, and you're like, whoa. And like, he didn't come in last Sunday.
Like, a lot of things have been pretty bad.
Something that I say every day, and I got it over my door, is the greatest weapon in the hand of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. And I feel a lot of us are oppressed right now.
Okay, my name is John Rios. I teach AP US History and AP Psychology here at Grandview High School. You know, one of the things that hopefully that I get across to students in like AP US History when we talk about the founding of the nation, that even in writing the Constitution and putting it together, there had to be compromises for things to work. And I feel like that's been kind of forgotten. I mean, I have no problem letting people know that, you know, that I'm a registered Republican, and which is kind of an oddity in the public education sector. But at the same time, I personally am not a fan of like Donald Trump. And I did not vote for Donald Trump because for me, one of the things I have to feel is I respect the people I vote for. When we get to the Civil War, we'll probably watch a little clip from the Civil War documentary, and one of the historians there, who's a Southern guy, says basically the Civil War happened because we failed to do what we have always done in our history from the beginning, is
Compromise.
Compromise.
Compromise. Compromise.
Compromise.
Compromise. Allegedly. Hello. This is a different camera than I usually use, so this is weird, but hi, it is 12:26 in the evening. Well, like in the morning, I guess. It's November 4th then, and I'm up watching the American presidential election results come in. I hope that people, specifically in my generation, will recognize the need for empathy within politics. There was something that Major Garrett, who's a journalist, said on one of the programs I'm watching for live coverage. He said that, I think he was talking about Trump, but I could be wrong. His approach to politics is this: he believes strength will always beat empathy. And that, at first I was a little confused, because to me, strength comes from empathy. It made me sad. I hope you'll remember how incredible it is that we live in a democracy. I hope you remember the tradition of peaceful transfer of power in our country, because I think we can be better.
We're going to try and get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
1349 hours declaring it a riot.
I don't have a lot of insight to this. Like, what exactly happened? Why'd they riot?
Who wants to kind of summarize what the hell happened yesterday? What was going on yesterday?
It was like a riot, basically.
Not like a riot.
It was a riot, basically.
What was happening is Donald Trump has been saying that he didn't lose the election, right? He's been encouraging followers to fight for him. I think he meant figuratively. Maybe he meant literally. I don't know.
They ripped down an American flag and put up a Trump flag.
Honestly, my biggest reaction to this was anger, because we've seen over entire lifetimes and several centuries before that the American police and military has been one of the most hugest brutalizers of movements for racial and social justice, both in our country with, Stonewall with the Black Lives Matter protests, or even out of it with Operation Condor in Latin America, and the entirety of the Cold War and the Lavender Scare, where my community was brutalized by the American government because gayness was associated with communism. Like, this country does not have a good history with suppressing social movements.
Without being political in any way on either side, why the hell is nothing happening?
But let's be completely honest. If that was the summer, and that was somebody that looked like me, right? Black guy, Muslim, you big, you walk there, you're getting gunned down in front of everybody, right? Let's be honest. There's going to be ARs and bullets flying in the air.
And now I kind of worry about the inauguration.
Biden will take the oath of office, him and Kamala Harris. She'll be vice president, and we'll have a new administration. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be peaceful. I hope so. But there's this old Chinese proverb, may you live in boring times. Yes, let's live in boring times, right? Now, all this stuff is great for future generations. They'll think it's interesting, but I don't want to live it.
Man, that's a really, that makes me feel some type of way, that question. Definitely at first was very frustrated, mad I couldn't do basketball, all these things that really don't matter to me anymore. Like, I love sports, but this made me realize what's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was bummed, and I told you guys in the last interview, I was bummed that my son missed his senior year of lacrosse. First world problem.
Yeah, wow. I hope that in some way or fashion, we start to understand that school should be about the kids, right? And what I mean by that is the kids that I know and the kids that I'm honored enough to talk to and to be honored to tell me the truth, they feel like they're not included in the curriculum. They feel like we're not teaching them what they want to learn.
And I think the really cool thing I've seen this year is so many students not finding their voice because they've already had it, but using it to press more and more for things that they deserve. My name is Miguel Ortega, and I am a Spanish teacher here at Grandview High School, and I also sponsor the Students Organized Against Racism group this year. I think about our students a lot, and that's sort of where my mind is right now, well, as it should be, which is kind of my point. I want our students to hear, and I'll look straight here. I want our students to hear that they are the powerful ones, that they are the reason that this building is built. They are the reason that we have jobs. They are the reason that we educators have salaries. They are the main stakeholders in this educational institution.
So I hope that regardless of who you love,
whatever they happen to believe, whatever, gender, race.
I just want everyone to feel valued and included.
We want a place that is going to be safe for everybody.
I don't want it to be just one European-centric, white male view. Because that's not the world. I exist, you exist. And we should see ourselves in curriculum and textbooks.
I want the music and the art that we make to represent everybody and not just the few.
There are times when people ask me, what do you do? And I say, I teach. And they say, well, what do you teach? And I say, high school. And they go, oh my God, how can you teach high school? They're so awful. And I always say, no. You don't understand. You don't get it. That's where our hope is.
They have more voice. They have more voice than I think they are often led to believe.
Is a time, a place, and a space for students to take kind of their passions and skill sets and have a voice and pursue kind of a journey and a path that I want to support and facilitate no matter what direction they're going.
Humans are made to be resilient. I'm not discounting that it's been hard for people, but I think people will come through it. I think again, people will find a way, because
you have the ability to change things and capture things and keep the hope.
Snow showers anywhere from West Virginia to Vermont and Washington, D.C. That's our focus. Today you could see some of those snow showers. Blustery day. The wind gusts up to 35 miles per hour, but the temperature 40, so it'll feel like the 30s. It's going to be an okay day, and we've got an inauguration historical piece coming up. But first, let's get those windy cities, sponsored by CarMax.
All the past presidents were there, except for Jimmy Carter, who is old, and because of the COVID, he and his wife did not come. One of Biden's children's or daughter-in-law had on an extremely ugly dress, and J-Lo was beautiful. And Bernie Sanders, there was Bernie, and he had on a hat, and he had on some homemade knit mittens. Lady Gaga sang beautifully. Her outfit was very interesting, but that was my personal fashion statement. My name is Mary Bickford, and I'm Maya's grandmother. On the morning of the inauguration, I rose at the terrible hour of 5:30 in the morning so I could be in front of the TV. I didn't want to miss the former president leaving the White House. In my nightie with a knitted blanket on top of me, and Maya's papa brought me coffee, and I just stayed there. And it was very exciting to see and very scary to see, with all the armed guardsmen around and the fences and all the security. It was as much sad as it was a happy. Amanda Gorman recited an amazing poem, some she had written the day before, and it started like this. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade.
We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is hours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one.
And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we're striving to form a union that is perfect. We're striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and condition of man.
And so we lift our gazes, not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first.
We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another.
We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true.
Even as we grieved, we grew.
That even as we hurt, we hoped.
That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division.
Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made.
Esa es la promesa del claro, la colina que escalamos, si tan solo nos atreviéramos. Es porque ser estadounidense es más que un orgullo que heredamos. Es el pasado al que damos un paso y cómo lo reparamos.
We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort almost succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated.
In this truth, in this faith we trust. For while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us.
This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves.
So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe?
We now arrest. How could catastrophe prevail over us?
We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation.
But one thing is certain, if we merge mercy with might, and might with right, then love becomes our legacy, and change our children's birthright.
So let us leave behind a country better than the one that we were left with. Every breath from my brown's pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one.
We will rise from the gold-limit hills of the West.
We will rise from the windswept northeast where our forefathers first realized revolution.
We will rise from the lake-rimmed city of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover. And every known nook of our nation and every corner called our country, our people diverse and beautiful will emerge, battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it.
Where there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it.
If only we're brave enough to be it.
Once told the moon that she was crazy. She never spoke to me again. Grew up with the stars laughing at me. The world is in a constant spin. Doesn't Mother Earth get dizzy? The nail polish on my hands is always chipping. I've grown scared of the news. Driving on an icy road is all